Hello Internet, this is Alfie from BigCatCountry.com bringing you another session of Jaguars Film Room. Today what we're going to look at from the Jaguars 34-18 loss to the Buffalo Bills on Sunday is the play of the defense. The defense could not get off the field on Sunday. Typically that's because they can't stop the other team from passing the football because of the lack of the pass rush. But on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills, they couldn't stop the run at all. They were gashed for over 200 yards. The Bills ran it for chunks of yardage at will and just ground down the Jaguars defense and wore them out for the whole game. A big part of that was the Jaguars defensive tackles, Tyson Alualu, CJ Mosley, and Terrence Knighton just didn't have a very good game. Alualu particularly got blocked out on quite a few plays. Completely turned around, put on his knees, and you can't do very much as a defensive lineman if you're on your back half the game. So the first play we're going to look at is a short run by Fred Jackson. It's one where Alualu gets turned around, gets dominated by the guard. Off the snap, you can see Alualu get turned to the inside and he tries to spin away, but the guard just has complete control over him. Pushes him to the ground, and then the running lane opens up for the running back, and he comes through the lane. Luckily, Dewan Landry's there to make the tackle in the play for an 8 or 9 yard gain. Could have gone for much longer had Landry missed the tackle, but he was there to make the play and stop the run for shorter than it could have been. Second play we're going to look at is another big game by Fred Jackson of the Bills. As you can see, right off the snap, the Bills' offensive linemen push away the Jaguars' interior linemen, creating a pretty easy running lane. Both Terrence Knighton and Tyson Alualu get turned, opening up the lane for Jackson to run through. And then the biggest problem on the play, and why it went for such a big gain, is safety Chris Brzezinski. As you can see, the deep guy, once again, takes a horrible angle, overruns the play, and flails as he realizes he overran the play trying to trip up Jackson, but luckily the other defensive back is right there to make the play. And if the other defensive back's not there, that's probably a long touchdown run for Fred Jackson. But when your defensive tackles get turned to the outside on a run up the middle, and your safety that's supposed to be controlling that running lane overruns and whiffs on the play, you're going to give up big yards. And the final play we're going to look at by the Jaguars against the Bills on Sunday is C.J. Spiller's 44-yard touchdown run. As you can see on the play, it initially starts out as a weak belly play going to the right side. Spiller cuts back. He cuts back to the left side because the hole's not there on the right side. And because Jeremy Mincey, the defensive lineman for the Jaguars, peeks inside and plays the inside of the run, Spiller stretches it wide, and because Mincey played inside on that play, Chris Brzezinski cuts hard to the inside to play that gap and try and make the tackle, and puts himself out of position to cover the backside, and Spiller uses his speed, stretches the play out, and just goes right up the field for the 44-yard touchdown run. Again, these are just mistakes by the Jaguars on the defense. Jeremy Mincey has to maintain and set the edge on that play. He can't peek in the backfield. And when he peeks in the backfield, it keys to the safety to cut to the inside. And when Brzezinski does make that cut inside, he can't overcommit as much as he does. That's his biggest problem. He plays a little bit too out of control. He's fast and everything, but if you're fast and you take bad angles and you play out of control, you put yourself out of a play a lot of the times. And that's exactly what happened on this play. You have Mincey play the play incorrectly to the inside instead of setting the edge and stretching it wide. And then you have Brzezinski playing off of Mincey, cutting way too hard to the inside. Doesn't leave himself any opportunity to cover the cutback if Spiller cuts it back, which he does. And then you're just, you're done. That's a 44-yard touchdown by Spiller, who can, take it to the house on any play. And a lot of these guys on the Jaguars defense are playing for new contracts. There's going to be a lot of turnover, a lot of free agents at the end of the year. And guys are going to have to step up and make plays. Now, Mincey typically makes that play. That's not a big thing for him. But it's just little things like that. And then you have the Jaguars defensive tackles and Tyson Alualu and Terrence Knighton Now he's in a contract year, hasn't played well at all, lost his starting job. Tyson Alualu, the former top 10 pick, is just, you know, an average defensive tackle right now that doesn't really do much. He doesn't affect the passer. He's not great against the run. So there's a lot going wrong there, and you can't give up 200 yards on the ground. So going forward, these guys are going to have to play a lot better against the run, especially with teams with better offensive lines than the Bills. The Bills' offensive line isn't horrible, but it's, you know, it's middle of the pack. So they're going to have to play a lot better going forward. And that's it for this session of Big Cat Country Jaguars Film Room. Quick shout out to former Jaguar safety Gerald Alexander for helping me out with that final play and figuring out exactly what went wrong, allowing the long gain. But don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, SBN Big Cat Country, and subscribe to SB Nation's NFL YouTube channel, SBN NFL.